Hello students of class 9th. See, this is your English literature's textbook, Treasure Trove, a collection of ICC poems and short stories. In the last video, I was teaching the poems. Poem number 5, Television. See, this is poem number 5, Television, composed by Roald Dahl. Right. We will discuss about the themes of this poem, as I have already taught the text of this poem. Today we will discuss the themes. See the themes. First of all, watching television. Here, the poet describes the television set as the idiot box out of his aversion for it. Those who continues to watch television are, in fact, involved in a passive process. They are not actively engaged with the stuff that they watch. They receive and accept it as it is. This is contrary to what happens when we read something interesting. We remain active and alert and use our mental faculties, thus sharpening our brain. No wonder Dahl refers reading books to watching television. Here, the second point of this, death of imagination. Here the poet is saying Dahl was primarily a story writer and a thinker. He wrote stories for children with the view to induce them to imagine those things which they cannot see, feel, or touch. This is possible only if children are possessed of keen imagination. Here, Dahl was distressed to find that children who begin to prefer television watching to reading of books accept only the things which are visible. They no longer want to enter the world of fantasy. Dahl rightly thinks that television has pronounced the death of imagination, which is essential for creativity. In this sense, he was far ahead for his time in warning the parents against too much television watching by the young ones. A habit of reading. An important theme of the poem is that the reading books is very useful activity for the children. It must be encouraged by the parents by replacing the television with lots of books. Dahl wants the children to read whatever interests them. Once they have begun to read books, they will simply wonder why they have wasted a lot of time in watching the idiot books. Clear? Let's see the critical appreciation of this poem. First of all, we will discuss here the title of the poem. The title of the poem, Television, is simple and apt. Television reminds the focus of attention throughout. Dahl enumerates several ill effects of watching television. Then he proceeds to count the several benefits of reading books. He argues in favor of reading books. He looks upon television as the idiot box, as a monster and as a ridiculous machine, and talks it as nasty, foul, clean, repulsive. A modern response, the poet might seem to be exaggerating the young viewers of television. However, his viewpoint has been endorsed by several eminent persons and study surveys. There are many homes without television sets. However, in our new technologies even television set has been replaced by smartphones and other gadgets. Consequently, the habit of reading has been pushed further back. The new generation gets every type of knowledge from the net or the television. Adults' warning, however true, has a few takers these days. But those who want to add wisdom to knowledge must go back to good old books. Books, traditional or non-traditional, are irreplaceable. Here, see the style of this poem, form and structure. The poem consists of 93 lines and is fairly long in modern context. It is not divided into separate units or segments. It is written in a freestyle simply because the poet's main aim is to give a message and not to create any special poetic effect. The looseness of form can only be justified keeping in view its dedicated purpose. See here, literary devices. Rhyme scheme. The poet uses rhyming couplets with exception in lines 31, 32 and 33 throughout the poem, and the rhyme scheme is A, B, B, as in these opening lines. The most important thing we have learned so far as children are concerned is never let them near your television set. Right? Here, learn, concern, let, set. This is the rhyme scheme. And rhetorical devices, the poet uses personification by giving human qualities to the television. The quality to kill something or devour something. That's why the television is to him a monster, nasty and repulsive. The poet uses apostrophe, a rhetorical device, while addressing his poem to the parents and absent audience. Let's see the figure of speech in this poem. The poet uses traditional metaphors as we saw. A dozen eyeballs on floor. This monster, only one simile occurred in the poem when he said, his brain becomes as soft as cheese. Here, as soft as cheese, as only one simile. Now see the language. The poet uses almost the language of prose in writing this poem. He has divided the use of figure of speech. He has avoided the use of figure of speech The use of capital letters is made to put emphasis on the masses. This is significant that the poet uses we instead of I to underline the fact that what he wants to say is not merely his personal opinion, rather it is the opinion of a number of persons like him who are worried about the children's habit of watching the television. Now let's see comprehension passage. Here short passage has been given. Let's read the extract given below and answer the questions that follow. See here, he can no longer understand a fantasy of fairyland. His brain becomes as soft as cheese. His powers of thinking rust and freeze. He cannot think, only sees. Here the question, what advice has the poet given to the parents earlier in the context? What advice? Your answer is, the poet is concerned over watching television by children for hours these days. He has advised the parents earlier in the poem not to allow their children to watch the television. Now the question second, why? Why do the parents let their children watch the television? Your answer is, parents let their children watch the television to get freedom to do domestic chores and to keep them busy so that they might not do any mischief. Now question third, how do the television kills imagination? When we watch television, we are not actively engaged with the stuff we watch. We receive the material passively. We do not think or imagine. Slowly, television kills our imagination. We accept only what we see. Clear? Now question 4, sorry. Here, question 4, what harm does television do? Television makes us dull, unimaginative. We no longer process original thinking. We do not go beyond what we see the screen. Now see the question number 5. Do you agree with what the poet says? Why and why not? So here we do not fully agree with the poet. Controlled TV watching can be beneficial rather than harmful. Clear? Okay students, as a things whatever I have taught today is clear for all of you, and as a thing the poem has finished, and the remaining, I mean to say another, I will teach you short stories in the next video. Very soon we will meet and take a story.